Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone around the world. I am your favorite friendly neighborhood beer bro, Mr. Kennedy. Welcome to episode 6 of the Mr. VG podcast. I have a lot of news for y'all today. But first, before I get started with the show, I just wanted to talk about three heavy hitters that we just lost last week. In the entertainment world, if you're an 80s kid, you took a heavy hit. We lost the biggest wrestling personality, the biggest wrestler in the history of wrestling. Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71 from cardiac arrest. He's been sick for a while and he just underwent surgery. And just like that, he was gone. I cannot overstate how important that man was to wrestling. I did a tribute video to him on my YouTube channel, so head over there and check it out. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but the only wrestler in history to ever go to two different companies and take them to heights that they never seen before. So many memories that Hulkamania gave us. A lot of people became wrestlers because of him. A lot of people became wrestling fans because of Hulk. And that sucks. Rest in peace to him. And Hulkamania will live forever. If you're a heavy metal fan, you know about Ozzy Osbourne and you know about Black Sabbath. I have a couple of their songs on my playlist right now. I got Crazy Train. That song is bumping when you're training in the gym, man. There's something about that blood pumping through your head and through your muscles when you're listening to Crazy Train on the treadmill, man. Ozzy Osbourne passed away as well too at the age of 76. This was a week after he did his last concert with Black Sabbath, which is cool that he got to reunite with those guys before he passed. He went out on his own terms, and he was sick for a long time too. And he will always forever be a legend in music and in entertainment. So rest in peace to him as well too. If you are a fan of the Cosby Show, which I'm sure a lot of people are, you grew up in that Cosby house, with Theo and Sandra and Denise and Vanessa and Rudy. You grew up in that household. Y'all felt like y'all were one big family. We lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo, the only son in the family. He died drowning while he was on a trip in Costa Rica with his family at the age of 54. And this one hit home because it felt like you lost a brother. Like I said, you watch them Cosby shows and you watch them episodes and you just feel like you're right there with them. You can relate to that family and everything. And it just sucks that he went out. Nothing but positive things said about this man throughout social media. People that he's worked with, music videos he's been in, shows that he's been a part of, movies he's been in. Everybody had nothing but great things to say about this guy. And it just sucks that he passed away. My heart goes out to his family and to all of his loved ones. Rest in peace to these goats. I have a lot of news here for you guys. And we're going to start off with the one of the biggest arcades in Tokyo being shut down after 32 years. Genda Gigo Entertainment announced on July 15th that it will be closing the Akihabara Gigo 1 arcade at the end of August 2025. This was Sega's flagship arcade, and its red building has been a landmark in Tokyo's electronic district for 32 years. This place was known for anime, manga, and game-related stores and a plethora of tiny electronic game shops. The reason why it's being closed is because of the heavy hit that a lot of companies have taken during the pandemic era. They lost a lot of customers, they lost a lot of money, and they're just not able to keep it open. Now, the reason I want to talk about this, because if you lived through the arcade days, you're an 80s kid. There was nothing like visiting the arcade. My father worked for 3 different arcades, Mr. Arcade, Sport Time USA, Super Amusements. So my brother and I always had coins. We always had tokens. That's what they called it. And there's nothing like just going into this arcade and you're seeing a bunch of kids your age and you're seeing all of these arcade machines with all of these cool games that my brother and I used to play as kids. Alter Beast, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Punch Out, Street Fighter 2, Golden Axe, you know, Tekken, and all of these games that we used to play back in the day. There's nothing like that, you know. And one of the main reasons why I miss the arcade days is the just talking to other kids and making friends when we were little and when we were teenagers. See, when you have a console now and when you have a PC, when you talk about multiplayer games, you don't really have that where you have people in the same place at the same time playing the same game. Everybody plays online. So it's not the same thing as going to an arcade and actually socializing with people there and making friends and you know, seeing if you can beat everybody in Mortal Kombat 2, because you know the competition was real. So that's the main thing that I miss about that. And that's one of the main things that's missing from gaming today, is just that, you know, people don't socialize anymore. We don't have those tournaments where you just have like all of your friends or your brothers and your cousins in one room. Like when we used to play Super Street Fighter 2, it'd be me, my brother, my cousins, Quinn, Quam, Omar. And we would just be sitting there just having a tournament and just seeing who was the best at it. I miss those days, man. But that just sucks, you know, after 32 years, that they're closing that arcade. And if I ever make it over to Japan, I would love to visit the ones that they do have left, if they have any by that time. So that sucks. I just wanted to update you guys on the SAG-AFTRA contract details. Remember when I was talking about that the company's using AI to replicate likenesses of voice actors? They reached a contract, and here are some of the details in it. It says that the contract will secure an increase of 15% compensation upon ratification, with an additional 3% increase for each year for the 3-year contract. The time spent creating the digital replica will be compensated as work time according to the agreement. The agreement requires the employer to provide performers with a usage report that details how the replica was used and calculates the expected compensations. And they're also getting health benefits and all of that stuff too. So good for them. I'm happy about that. I am happy about that. Now, one thing that I missed, I got to go back because I was like, wait a minute, you said her name, but it didn't register. Fran Drescher. When I said that she was involved with that. And I'm like, is that the lady who played the nanny? She's involved in this whole thing? And she is. Holy crap, man. I can't believe I missed that detail. I was like, what the hell, man? Like, where was my head at? But that was cool. That's one of my dad's favorite shows. So I know about the nanny. I know all too well. But good for them. You know, they stood on business and they're going to reap the rewards of this contract. And I will teach these companies to stop cheating people. The FBI seizes over 170 million in a major video game piracy scheme. Atlanta, Georgia, the FBI Atlanta field office announced Thursday, July 10th, which is a couple weeks ago, the seizure of several online criminal marketplaces providing pirated versions of popular games. Along with the seizure, the FBI has dismantled the infrastructure of these websites to help prevent websites from being created in the future. Between February 28, 2025 and May 28, 2025, records indicate a total of 3.2 million downloads occurred on these sites from most of the download services, resulting in an estimated loss of 170 million. These are the websites that were taken down: nsw2u.com, nswdl.com, game2u.com, bignGame.com, ps4pkg.com, ps4pkg.net, mgnetu.com. If you go to any of these websites, it will show a banner that tells you that the site was taken down. So there you go. I mean, at least they caught this one, but this, there's going to be plenty of websites that are going to be up about this stuff. They're not going to be able to completely stop all of these things. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. I just wanted to read this story to you guys because I hate reading stories like this. But it happens. It's video game related. It says man accused of shooting cousin during a fight over video games. Hazelwood, Missouri, a man accused of shooting his cousin during a fight over a video game in Hazelwood. Sean Harold, 22, is accused of shooting his cousin in the arm during a fight at the home on Ville Angela Lane on Saturday. Police said the two were arguing over a video game when the fight turned physical. The victim went outside and Harold reportedly went and got a gun. When the victim returned to the home, the argument continued. According to the police, Harold then shot his cousin in the arm. During an interview, investigators said Harold admitted to the shooting and he knew that he had made a mistake. Harold is charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal actions. What the hell is wrong with people? Seriously, I don't understand. I said it before and I'll say it again. If you get so butthurt in a video game that you have to physically cause harm to somebody else, then you are fucked up in the head. You should not be playing video games. You should be nowhere near video games or any physical form of media if you're going to act out like that. Never in my life, in the almost 40 years that I've been alive, have I ever felt so angry at a game that I wanted to cause harm to somebody else or punch somebody or worse. And it's ridiculous on how people give this stuff a pass. I'm glad he was charged, but I think that really people need to start, doing therapy and stuff. Get that stuff out in the open. You should not be playing stuff like this if you're going to be causing harm. And I'm glad that his cousin survived. But, that fucked up his family for a long time. You're never going to be able to repair that relationship. And what about the mindset of the kid that got shot? He's probably going to be afraid to be in anybody's presence from now on. And that just sucks. I just hate how, this spoiled brat mentality, people walk around like there's no consequences, no no, what's the word I'm looking for? They just have nothing in their head that says, oh, well, I can just do whatever I want and nothing's going to happen. You can't do that. You can't walk around with that attitude, man. And I'm glad the guy's all right. But it just sucks to read stories like this. It really does. If you are a fan of the Elder Scrolls games, we lost the father of the Elder Scrolls games, Julian Lafay, has died. Now, my original notes that I had, because I did it last week, said that he was stepping away due to cancer and he just needed to take time away. But unfortunately, he ended up dying this week, and that sucks to hear. He's worked on the first Elder Scrolls. He worked on the second one. He briefly worked on the third one, which is Morrowind. He's worked on other games. He started working for Bethesda back in 1987 as a chief engineer and lead. He also worked on some music as well, too. He wanted to open up his own company, but unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to see it open. And that just sucks. Bethesda issued a statement on Julian. Without Julian, we would not be here today. That's what Bethesda wrote. His work, his spirit, both live on in our memories and in our games. And that really sucks. He worked on titles, like I said, Elder Scrolls 1 and 2, Arena, Daggerfall, and Battle Spire. And that just sucks because cancer's a bitch. And he did not look well in the last press conference that he did, and they did say that he didn't have much time left, but I didn't know that it would be that fast. So rest in peace to him, and that just sucks to hear things like that. If you are Ubisoft, that's the next news. If you are a fan of the Fallout Amazon TV series, you'll be happy to know that a Wolfenstein TV series is coming by the same director as the Fallout TV series. It's going to be on Amazon and it's going to be on Netflix. They did not give a release date, but it is in the pipeline, so they are working on it. And I heard that the Fallout TV series did pretty damn good. So if Wolfenstein could do anywhere near that, that would be great. I am familiar with the Wolfenstein series. I have seen it back on the PC, the first one, and I did see Return of Castle Wolfenstein back on the PS2. That was PC as well too. You play as BJ Blazkowicz, and you're taking out as many German Nazis as you possibly can. So I think that could work as a TV series storyline. Let's see what they can do with that. So I just wanted to let y'all know about that. Now on to Ubisoft. Now we can talk about Ubisoft because I have a lot of things to say here. First off, with this tone deaf bullshit, Ubisoft says microtransactions make the player experience more fun. It says here, this comes straight from Yves Guillemot. I never did know how to pronounce his name. He said that Ubisoft revealed that part of its reason why it continues to add microtransactions to premium games in its most annual financial report spotted by Games Radar, so credit to them. According to the Ubisoft CEO, Guillemot, microtransactions make the player's experience more fun because the player can personalize their avatars or progress more quickly. The CEO also stressed that microtransactions are always optional, indicating that gamers who don't like them can just ignore them. So we're going with the whole if you don't like it, don't buy it approach. I've never been a fan of microtransactions. I don't know a lot of people who like microtransactions. I think that it's a bullshit way to nickel and dime people. But charging for bullshit like putting clothes on your avatar, weapons, even alternate endings is unacceptable. I don't know where he got that from, that it makes it more fun. Find me a player, find me a gamer out here that will agree with that bullshit. Microtransactions to be able to play the game the way that it's supposed to be played. Are they serious? That's one of the most tone deaf statements I ever heard come out of that guy's mouth. He's full of shit. And I'll say that right here. The only reason why he says that is because he's making the money. He's making the money. But he knows damn well that players don't agree with that shit. What happened to the days where, you had replayability? Where you would play games and you would have to actually put time into those games to beat those games, to unlock costumes and weapons and stuff like that. And that reminds me of when Resident Evil 2 remake and the 3 remake came out, and even 4 remake. You guys know that there's DLC in the store that you can pay that allows you to unlock all of the unlockables in the game. Now, I will say this, you do whatever you want with your money. But logically thinking, what the fuck is the point of playing the game if you're just going to pay for all of the in-game items that you're supposed to play through the game to go get? What is the point? Why even play the game? I don't understand why people think that this is a good idea. It's not. It's never been. Y'all know the type of gamer I am. I like to play. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to get down into the trenches and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. That way it's more rewarding when you unlock everything. paying to progress through a game or to get the upper hand in the game or against other players, that's bullshit. That's a lazy way to play video games, and I'll never agree with that. In the same interview, he talks about the newest Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws, and why it didn't perform so well. He blames it on the choppy Star Wars universe. In a Q&A, Guillemot said he addressed the complaints of last August's open world action adventure, why it didn't hit exceedingly high sales milestones that it had hoped for. The end game, which you play as the space criminal K-Vest rushing around the galaxy committing acts of crimes, he said that it was softer than expected sales on release, which caused a huge drop in Ubisoft share values to be as low as it's ever been. And this is what he had to say. The big boss claims that Outlaws' middling performance last year was in large part because the whole Star Wars franchise was in choppy waters. That's his excuse. Anyone who's played that game, you know that it is a mediocre open world game. It is nothing like anything you haven't seen before. It's just the same old generic characters, generic open worlds. Go here, do this mission, go collect that. It's nothing to ride home about. Not to mention, because it's Ubisoft, it has a whole bunch of glitches and bugs that they had to patch on day one. And it pissed a lot of fans off. And they lost money for that. Imagine that. Putting out an unfinished product that did not play the way the fans wanted it to play. And he's blaming it on the movie franchise. Are you serious? I thought we were bigger than that. You're blaming it on the movie franchise. No, dude. Just take the L. Just take the L and say, all right, man, we didn't do too good this time. The fans weren't into it. It is what it is. But to throw out a bullshit excuse like, oh, it's because of the movie franchise. No, it's not. The game was bland and boring, and it was choppy and bugged up and everything. That's what it was. Don't shy away from it. I hate when they do that. It's everybody else's fault except ours. Own it. Take the L, bro. The game sucks. That's why it didn't sell as well. That's what it is. Anyways, though, let's move on to Xbox. I got a couple of things to say about them. If you had the movie and TV apps, which you can purchase movies and TV shows, Microsoft shut it down without any warning, without telling anybody. It says Microsoft shut down its digital movies and TV stores on the Xbox and PC, as reported by Tom Warren of The Verge. While previously purchased content will remain available in the movies and TV apps, new purchases are no longer possible. Now, you will be able to, all the stuff that you bought, you will be able to still watch it on the app, but you won't be able to purchase anything else on it. They are also not giving any refunds. If you happen to buy something and you want to get your stuff back, you're not going to be able to. They did state that that customer service will continue in the app as long as they decide to keep keeping it. So if you do have the digital movies and TV app and you have your movies that you purchase and TV shows, at least they let you keep that, which is a good thing, because they could have easily been dicks and just said, nope, we're going to shut it down, and you lose all of your movies, all of your TVs, everything that you purchased. That would suck. So I just thought I would let y'all know about that. They also, for now, and I'm skeptical about it, but they have said that Xbox says goodbye to $80 games for now. it drops the Outer Worlds 2 to $70 and promises to keep our full price holiday releases to old standards. This comes from Microsoft. We're focused on bringing players incredible worlds to explore and to keep our full priced holiday releases, including Outer Worlds 2 at $69.99. Now, I am skeptical about that, but I hope that they do. You know, they only mentioned Outer Worlds. They didn't mention anything else as of yet. But I think that all standard games should be $70. Like if you just have just the base game, $70. If you have a special edition, then you can charge more for that. I don't think that that's too much to ask on that. So I hope they keep their word on that for now, because again, this is the same company that decided that they was going to do a price increase on all of their hardware that nobody buys on the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X and S that nobody buys. People were already not buying it, so we're going to increase the price on something that nobody buys to ensure that nobody's actually going to buy it. Good plan. I talked about that before, but let's see if they keep it that way. Let's see if they keep it. An update on one of the companies. Remember when I was talking about how Microsoft basically gutted their whole entire gaming division? ZeniMax was one of those companies that I mentioned. I have a couple of quotes from two employees that worked there. An employee, her name is Paige Branson, told Game Developer that it was one of the worst days at the job that I've ever had in my entire life, with the lack of communication from Microsoft about who was getting cut, causing untold distress and panic among employees. She also believes that the layoffs were a betrayal of trust of the highest magnitude and felt like Microsoft was taking the feelings of the shareholders into account more than its staff. That's no surprise there, because you're just a number to these companies. You're just a number. That's it. You're just a person that's there. You're just the grease on the wheel. We also had another quote here from media senior QA tester Autumn Mitchell. Goes a step further, calling Microsoft inhumane for laying off people in a manner of which it did, and explains she was personally left in a state of fight or flight during the whole ordeal. It's not okay. It wasn't normal. I don't care how many times they do it to try to make it seem like it's normal. It's not. The way that they do it is inhumane. Mitchell goes on to explain that longtime veterans at Microsoft who were cut had to rush to type a goodbye message into Slack, and calls the treatment of these individuals disgusting, given how much work they gave to the company for so long. Mitchell and Branson both go on to call out Xbox leadership Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, calling them disconnected from the realities of working on the ground level, and wishes that they would think about the human cost when it comes to mass layoffs. For both, those are let go and those that stay. Now, like I said, it sucks to lose your job. It doesn't matter what company you work for, but something I realized a long time ago, tenure doesn't matter. Loyalty doesn't matter in these companies. They only see one thing: money. What they can get out of it. Like I just said a few minutes ago, you are just a number. You don't matter. And that sucks, because you should never treat your employees like that. These are the people that keep the machine running. And it's just, I never liked the treatment of some of these big bosses, these millionaires, and how they treat people who work for them. Like you don't matter. They disrespect you and they just throw you away like yesterday's newspaper. And that makes me sick. That's not how you handle things. Even if you have to make the hard decision to cut people, at least let them know that it's coming. Don't just blindside them like that. That is bullshit. And I never like how companies do that, because that's the coward's way to do things. At least have enough respect for the people that have put in the blood, sweat, and tears for you over the years. Let them know what the deal is. And I feel really bad for those people that have to do that, because you got to find another job. You lost your source of income. For some of those people, they loved working for the company. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been there as long as they were. And it just sucks that they had to go through that. Let's move on to Sony. This one I found kind of funny, man, because it just seems like, Sony is just, you talk about hitting and missing. Jeez. Another PS5 multiplayer action game is shutting down. Was released in 2023. 2 years ago. And it's already being shut down. PlayStation multiplayer action game Warlander is shutting down in January 2026. Warlander servers will be shut down on January 20th, 2026, starting today, which was last week that I got these notes. Players will no longer be able to purchase in-game currency called Goldings. However, Warlander will remain available to play and to download until January, and any Goldings players own will be usable until then. Toy Logic has said that it will not be providing any refunds for microtransactions. We plan to continue the weekend campaign and the 2 Army Great War events until the end of services, the studio announced. Toy Logic plans to reboot Warlanders and says that its development is going well. However, the studio hasn't confirmed whether the reboot will be released on console or not. So here we go, another free-to-play game. Another one of these generic games in an already oversaturated market being shut down only after 2 years. And did y'all catch the key thing? They will not be providing refunds for the microtransactions. Did y'all catch that little detail? In other words, we got your money, you're screwed, and you got to deal with it. Now, there is still a way that they can fix this and make this right. There is still a way. They're talking about rebooting this game. If you can take your games, the stuff that you bought, and move it over to the reboot edition that they're going to have, then they can fix this. You won't get your money back, but you'll get to keep everything that you paid for, which I think is at least something that they should do. But if they just reboot this game and then that's it, like you got to start from ground zero and make your way up, fuck that, man. I wouldn't even play the game. But again, it's another one of these fly-by-night games that looks like every other game. It's a copy of another game, like Fortnite and PUBG and all of that stuff. We already have enough of these damn games already. And they're losing money putting out these generic games instead of coming up with something that's going to be engaging for gamers. So, everybody loses here. The company loses because they're not making the money that they expected to make. And the players that sank their money into this game are the biggest losers because they lose everything, their progress and their money. That's not fair. And it's just a bullshit way to do things. Now you know why I hate these free-to-play games. Because at any time they can shut down that and that's it. You're just asked out. It looks like Sony's still in hot water. Now this was a lawsuit from couple of years ago. They're still going through it. It says U.S. judge rejects Sony's settlement over PlayStation game sales. This was as of July 18th, which was a couple of weeks ago. A U.S. judge in California has declined to approve a class action settlement with Sony that would have distributed 7.8 million in electronic credits to millions of users of the company's PlayStation video game consoles. Sony had agreed to the settlement to resolve claims that it overcharged for digital games, but the U.S. district judge in San Antonio said in a ruling opens up a tab on Thursday that the plaintiffs have not convinced her had not convinced her to the accord that was adequate. The judge described the agreement as a coupon settlement and said that those types of deals are generally disfavored, which they are. Nobody wants a fucking coupon. Just give them their money or give them free games. Give them something. The judge said the consumers who brought the case can file a revised proposal. The lead attorney for the plaintiffs declined to comment. Sony did not immediately respond to the request for comment as well either. The plaintiffs, who estimated the class size at more than 4.4 million individuals, sued Sony after its 2019 move to bar retailers such as Best Buy and GameStop from selling its so-called digital codes for digital PlayStation games. The lawsuit accused Sony of illegally monopolizing the sales of the digital PlayStation games. In a court filing, Sony said that it was settling to avoid the further expense and distractions of continued litigation. The company denied any wrongdoing. The settlement periods cover eligible PlayStation games purchases made between April 2029 and December 2023, according to the court filings. The plaintiffs' lawyers in a filing in December said that they were invested about 13,700 hours in the litigation, which began in 2021. They have planned to seek up to about 33% of the settlement legal fees, or about $2.6 million. So, to break this down, Sony was cheating people. They were overcharging for their games. They tried to put a ban on retailer stores from selling their digital cards and digital games so that you only could buy their games digitally through them. And the fans got pissed and they took their ass to court. What have we learned, Sony? What lesson have we learned? Don't cheat your fans, man. They get exactly what they deserve, and I hope that they lose a hell of a lot more than just coupons, because nobody likes fucking coupons. Come on, man. That made me think back to when Nintendo was in hot water years ago. I forget what it was, but I know that Nintendo got caught up with something and they were sending out $5 coupons to the fans and stuff. $5, hooray. What the hell can you do with that? I mean, to be fair, back in the 90s, you can go and get 4 snacks for $1. Remember those days? $25 bag of chips. You know, two 25-cent things of candy and a hand grenade juice that you poked a hole in the top. $5 went a long way. But for how much the Nintendo games cost back then, they were still pretty expensive. $5 is jack shit. And I hope Sony gets what they deserve here, because they cannot afford to drag this thing out more, because the more they drag it out, the more money they got to spend in court fees. So just make it right, Sony. These are titles that were moved to the last chance to play section of the PlayStation Plus. This will be going in August. So these will be games that are going to be removed. Bugsnax, Ride 5, Shinobi Strikers, which is an excellent game. If you ever played the Shinobi games, the side scrolling hack and slash, you got to pick this up. Excellent game. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, that's going away. 5 Sword Art Online games. I think all 5 of them that are on that platform, they're all leaving. Sword Art Online. I can't pronounce the Alicization Lycoris. I'm sorry, or Licorice. I sorry I pronounced that wrong. Fatal Bullet, Hollow Realization, Last Recollection, and Lost Song. The only ones of those that I played was Fatal Bullet. Fatal Bullet was okay. I had it for the Nintendo Switch over there. I had a little bit of fun playing it, but not really much to write home about. But yeah, all of the 5 art online games are leaving the store. Damn, what's going on there? Top Spin 25, UFC 5, Vacation Simulator, Back to the Job. What the hell is? Let me say this real quick. What the hell is with all these simulator games? Seriously, supermarket simulators, goat simulators, fishing simulators, hunting simulators. Now we got vacation simulators. Is this what people actually do? They sit around playing stuff on mediocre activities that we already do in real life. Vacation simulators. What the hell even is that? Seriously. Don't give these jobs any ideas, please. Please don't give these jobs any ideas. Because can you imagine that shit? You make your full year at work. You're like, oh man, I'm about to get my week's vacation and junk. Then the boss calls you into the office and they put a visor on your head. And they send you off to some place like a virtual Bahamas or Japan or something like that. You're like, how you like your vacation? And you're sitting there like an angry child, all frowned up and shit. Like, what the hell is this? Like, seriously, vacation simulator, supermarket simulator. I go to the supermarket every week. Why the hell would I want to play a game like that? Seriously, like, that's boring as fuck. Anyways, enough on the end rant. Sorry, ending the rant. Wild Hearts, which I mean, that game was pretty cool when I played it. I mean, I was still working for, I believe EA made it. I think I was still working for them when they were working on that game. Wild Hearts, let me look that up real quick. Sorry, folks, because I don't know if Wild Hearts was published by EA. You look that up real quick. Because I may be thinking about another game. Yep, EA published it. I was there working security when they were still working on the game. And I heard some mixed opinions about it. It's like another Dark Souls game, which, as if we don't have enough of those two. But what can you do? Everything's been done before. And The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. That one surprised me because The Witcher 3 it sold very well. So I don't know if they're just losing licenses on this or not. But get your hands on those games while you still can, folks, before they disappear for good. Of course, if you already have these games, and you already downloaded it, you can still play them. So you're still good there. Now, I wanted to say a little bit on this because I want to spend some time on this. It says that Sony's first-party games are coming to the Xbox and the Nintendo Switch. Now, y'all remember the last episode I talked about Helldivers 2 coming out for the Xbox this year? And I talked to y'all about the Sony fanboys that got butthurt because a game that was only on their console is coming out for another console. And to them, I say this because more of the brain rot was in the comments when I read that post. Where have y'all been the last 35 years? As if games have never been across all platforms. Like literally EA games all across any WWE game. The 2K games, they're on the Xbox, they're on the PlayStation, they're on PC, they're on the Switch, the new Switch now. Why are they acting like this is such a big deal? I'm seeing comments like, "Oh, Sony is going down. Sony is about to close up. Oh, why are they putting all these exclusives on there?" They act like Sony is paying them directly, like they work directly for the company. What the fuck difference does it make? Who cares? If they put their games on other consoles, a company's way of thinking. Follow me here. When you have a product that you make, whether it's a game or whether it's a peripheral, you want that thing to be available for everybody on everything. Imagine that. You make a game and it's on the PlayStation and it's on Xbox and it's on the Nintendo Switch. It's on the PC, it's on phones, it's on tablets. Hell, even television. That's good for you. Why? Because you make more money. And that's what companies want to do. So take the stick out of your ass, go get some chocolate milk, sit your ass down and chill somewhere. It ain't gonna hurt the way you play the game. It ain't gonna fuck up anything. I could care less who the hell has the game and who doesn't. I don't see people bitching about Fortnite being on everything. You know, I don't see people bitching about Marvel Rivals being on everything. Just shut the hell up and it is what it is, bro. Damn. Fanboys get on my nerves, man. They did mention some of the other games. I think like there was a Lego game. I didn't catch that one, but they didn't really mention that many games, but they are saying more is to come. So yes, bring that because you should want it to be available to everyone because everybody wants to play. If you have a game that everybody wants to play, make it happen. Because y'all remember Mortal Kombat. When Mortal Kombat first came out, Mortal Kombat was for the arcade, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, Game Gear. It was on everything. It was on the Amiga. It was on the PC, everything. You didn't have people bitching back then. So I just wish that these people would shut the fuck up. Have a Snickers and chill out. You're not you when you're angry. Anyways, though, let's move on to Nintendo. I got a couple of notes here. There's really not that much on Nintendo. There really hasn't been that much. Other than the Nintendo Switch 2 has passed the sales for the PS2. Which, the PS2 is one of the most sold consoles of all time in its 12-year span. So for the Nintendo Switch 2 to smash that record as fast as they did, congratulations to them. Congratulations. Look, I'm not that much of a fan of Nintendo and I crack on this stuff all the time, but when they do good things like this, I'm happy for them. What I'm not happy about is y'all know how when you get the Switch 2, they have the option to upgrade to the newest graphics. If a game is on the Switch 2, Square Enix decided that they wasn't going to do that with the Dragon's Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes. It says here also that it warns that DLC is locked to a specific platform. In a lengthy Q&A, the publisher has now confirmed that there will be no upgrade path between the versions of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake for the Switch 1 and the entirely separate, the otherwise nearly identical version of the same game on the Switch 2. Of course, the Switch 1 version of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 is playable on the Switch 2 via new console backwards compatibility, but this version will not take advantage of any of the graphical updates found in the Switch 2 specific edition. Each version has different graphical specifications based on the hardware's processing capabilities. Square Enix also wrote that the remake's differences on the Switch 2, however, there will be no differences between the story's content and items that which can be obtained. They also said that any digital stuff that you purchased on the Switch 1 version, you will not be able to transfer that over to the Switch 2 version. So if you buy that game again on the Switch 2, you're starting all the way from scratch, which I think is absolute bullshit. Because there should always be a way to transfer your saves. It's still a Nintendo console. So any digital stuff that you purchase, you can't use it on the same exact game for a different console. Have they not seen Fortnite? Have they not seen PUBG? Have they not seen these games, like Dead by Daylight and stuff? Even Dead by Daylight has that. Cross saves where you can transfer your stuff over. Come on now. What is the point of that? What is the point? We got the Zelda games that were mentioned that are going to have the option to upgrade graphically. The Mario games. You would think that all of these companies would get their head out of their ass and say, hey, we're going to do that too. What's the point of even buying the version for the Switch 2? Just keep the Switch 1 and play all of your saves and everything on the Switch 1. And if you have a Switch 2, just don't buy the same game, because why are you going to start all over again? No saves, no items that you collected. There's no point. There's no point of that. Back to Ubisoft, because this relates to Nintendo. It says that Assassin's Creed Shadows for the Switch 2 rating has been spotted online. Guillemot has informed investors that the well-received Assassin's Creed Shadow game will launch on other machines following the PEGI rating for the Nintendo Switch version of Assassin's Creed Shadow. Guillemot was also asked what's next for Ubisoft's plans for the Nintendo Switch after the release of Star Wars Outlaws, which is also coming to the Switch too. He wouldn't be drawn to the comment at this present. However, there were rumors from Ubisoft insiders that they were planning to bring Assassin's Creed Mirage to the platform as well too. So there you go. Assassin's Creed Shadows 2 is coming over to the console. The shitty Star Wars Outlaws game is coming over there. He said other machines. What other machines are there? You got the PlayStation, you got the Xbox, you got the Nintendo Switch, and you got PC. What the hell else do we have? Phone? I mean, is it going to be on the iPhone? On the iPad? Like, come on. It's going to the Switch too. So, y'all remember when I talked about that? I was like, yo, now that the system is more powerful, they're going to be bringing more powerful games. And hallelujah to that. Sign me up. Yeah. And they also talked about there's going to be a GameCube app. GameCube app added to the Nintendo Switch Online. And I will be talking about that. That brings me to this. Nintendo eShop maintenance plan is planned from July 30th at 11 o'clock p.m. to Thursday, July 31st, 2025. Now, this is right around the time where they have a Nintendo Direct and they update things. And a lot of people are putting the pieces together. A lot of people think that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct. And Metroid Prime 4 is going to be announced because it still doesn't have a due date. You know, so a lot of fans they're thinking that that's what this is going to be for. And this wouldn't be the first time. When they shut down maintenance, that gives them time to put the games for pre-order in there and to actually give them dates. So, and that's why they were talking about the GameCube app as well too. And Nintendo, please, if you're going to do a GameCube section of the Nintendo Switch Online, please give me Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Y'all know I've been crowing about that game for years. The remake of Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation and the Sons of Liberty 2 engine. And it sucks that that game is locked on the GameCube and you can't play it anywhere else. Please give me that game. Please give me that game to the gaming gods above. Lord Raiden and everything. Give me Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Because if y'all give me that, I'll pay for y'all shitty online service just to play that game. You know, so expect a direct. Nintendo hasn't said anything about it, but everybody thinks that that's what's going to happen. It probably is. Because people are hyped for Metroid Prime 4. And the fact that there's still no due date. I mean, come on. You're just breadcrumbing people. Just go ahead and do what you got to do. Drop the surprise on people. Make people happy. And that's it for episode 6. That's the end of my notes. Thank you to everyone that showed up today. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I will be back tomorrow for Resident Evil Tuesdays. If you did not get a chance to catch my first playthrough of Them and Us, I didn't finish the game, but I did play through the first part. It is on Twitch and it is on YouTube, so you can catch all of my playthroughs. Everything that I play on Twitch, everything that I stream on Twitch goes to my YouTube channel, Mr. Kennedy 04. Also, if you did not get a chance to catch my tier list of the Metal Gear Solid video games because I played every single one of them on YouTube as well too. Had a lot of fun making that, and I hope that you guys will have a lot of fun listening to it. Y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see y'all later.